can almost feel your anger through the screen. You're lost and confused, you're hopeless. Why hope when you're just going to fail again? And you're always looking for something that can just remind you to try again. You're waiting for that spark of motivation that gives you hope and rejuvenates your excitement to try. I think we have the delusion that we need to live life in a constant state of comfort, and that state of living will be the most healthy for us. Social media puts so much negative emphasis on negative emotions that we avoid it almost entirely. And when we don't feel great, we dig ourselves a hole and we let the self-pity accumulate. And now you're so sick and tired of having such terrible coping mechanisms. The anger within you right now almost makes you shake and almost makes you itch to conquer something in the most autistic way. 2 years ago, I couldn't fall asleep without listening to some of those romance ASMR, those girlfriend ASMR. I fantasize about meeting a new person and having a flirtatious conversation with them, or listening to those YouTubers who would paint a story through talking to you from a YouTube video. It's like an audio. That's how lonely I was. And every single day I would get so ridiculously frustrated and irritated by my parents. By the littlest thing they say. If they mention any little thing that had to do with my studies, I would have a ridiculous overload of anxiety, and I would chase them out of my room as fast as I could. I had a fucking Discord gaming clan where we would play mobile games and compete with others, and I made YouTube videos of me playing with my friends. I was about 6'1" at the time, and I weighed 117 kilos. They gave me a height advantage and I threw it out the window. I was incredibly fat. I remember I always had to adjust my shirt. I always have to pull it over the flaps, because I was so fat that the shirt would get stuck underneath the flabs. That's how ridiculous it was. I was tired of losing, failing over and over again. I always settled for enough, and because of that, I was always mediocre. Why do I always have to feel so lonely? Always let my parents down, feel so empty, feel like I'm so easily replaced. I'm supposed to be special. I always felt like if I tried, then I would be able to make things happen. If you don't take something seriously, you will never be able to beat the people around you. Get angry. Get really angry, almost be shaking with it. All those opportunities that you threw away, all those times you settled for enough and succumbed to comfort. Because of that, you lost another opportunity. Whether it was to get to know someone, whether it was a wonderful experience that you missed out on. You should think of your situation. Think about how much of a disappointment you are to your parents. Get angry and get really, really hungry for that conquest. You should be feeling that burning in your core, telling you to move. You need to change now. You're done. It's over. It's done. You've wasted enough time, and then you should know that the only way to move at your lowest point is up, because you can't go any lower than that, can you? First, you should surround yourself with self-improvement content. This can kind of lead you down into a spiral of addiction to self-improvement content, and you consume them just like a form of masturbation, because it just strokes your pseudo-fulfillment, your pseudo-progress. Makes you think you're making progress just by watching them. You should be implementing the things you learn. You absolutely should be. If not, you're simply not hurt enough to try. You hear this all the time, but you are the average of the 5 people you spend time with. And be honest right now, look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. You don't want to be like them, do you? Objectively speaking, where do you think they will end up 5 years later? Probably nowhere you want to be. I'm not telling you to cut them off, but I'm telling you to have people that reinforce your beliefs, reinforce your hunger for conquest. That sounds autistic as fuck. You should find people online that are closer to what you want to be. And when you expose yourself to all these people who are ambitious, well-spoken, charismatic, attractive to women, then naturally you will pick up some of those traits. You should be almost scaring everyone in your immediate vicinity with how much progress you're making. I pray that when you wake up tomorrow, your mother is kind of shocked that you stand with better posture. You're more grateful, you're kinder towards her, you hold yourself with more stature, and you're loving towards the people around you. That's what progress looks like, and I want your mother to feel that. At the beginning of your comeback, I think having a lot of self-improvement YouTubers in your ear, sharing their knowledge with you, sharing everything they learned, telling you their stories, that can be very, very important for you. But ideally, of course, the end goal is to come to a point where you don't really need that constant reminder anymore, because you found a brotherhood in real life. A brotherhood of strong, ambitious men who are also using their pain to do good for themselves. Number 2 is to build muscle. There's nothing that screams comeback more when you walk into the room 2 months later and they notice, holy shit, look at the size of you. Having a good physique almost screams competence. Imagine you pop into the room of those people that doubted you, of those people that give you heartbreak, and you stand with good posture, you're fit and you're well spoken, and you can speak with eye contact, and you can speak and smile, you're not cold and closed off. That fit body commands respect. When you walk into the room, eyes dart to you when you have the fit body, when you have the nice hair, when you have the style. Unfortunately, your physical appearance plays a huge role. And when you want to command the room, when you want to feel dominant, you need those broad shoulders and that low body fat. Having been fat as fuck and being quite muscular, I'm 6'3" right now, and having a decently muscular physique has done wonders for me. I feel the difference in treatment tremendously, and it's night and day, and deservingly so. I put so much work into my physique in the last 2 years. When nobody knew, I went to the gym 6 days a week, and of course at the start nobody would give a shit. You will post those progress pictures and nobody will give a flying fuck because you still look retarded. You're still fat, you're still skinny, nobody gives a shit. So you keep it to yourself. You don't talk. You scare the fuck out of them 6 months later when you're built, when your shoulders are capped, when your traps kind of have vascularity going through them. And when you sway your shoulders walking into a room, you won't look like one of those wannabe gangster loser ass. You do it because your lats are just that huge. Having a good physique is a form of expression. It's where your raw anger goes into. It's something money can't buy, and it's something that physically represents all your hard work. You can't really go wrong with it. And going to the gym will also help you find the people you can add to your brotherhood. Strong, good, and charismatic men are often found in the gym. The muscle-head stereotype is so ostensibly false because it's been a very, very long time since I've met a muscular retard. All the buff-ass, huge-armed uncles all have great charisma and they smile at you. They're really sweet. The biggest guy is always the nicest, for some reason. The gym saved my life, and I guarantee you it would do the same for you. Number 3 is to journal. It sounds autistic, it sounds feminine as hell, it sounds almost retarded, and you'll be laughed at. And you're probably laughing at me right now. I'm sure you know the guy, the self-improvement YouTuber Hamza. He introduced this to me, and I never wanted to journal because it just sounded so stupid. It's like kind of cringe. You have like a diary and you write your emotions on it. Look at me, I'm so spiritual. But at the start, before you make your ultimate comeback, you have so many thoughts and fears in your brain. You'll be so confused. You need someone to talk to. You need someone that you can just throw all your emotions at. You need something where you can map out how you're feeling, all your fears, all your habitual thoughts, all your trauma, and then kind of connect the dots and find out why you're so afraid, why you're so angry, and why you do certain things habitually. And there's no better way to do that than to journal. And you have so much trauma in you that the first time you journal, you find that you cannot stop writing. Once you get into the flow, once you start addressing some issues, holy shit, you cannot stop writing. It's unlimited. Everybody is absolutely cream-pied by a shit ton of trauma, and they never ever take any deliberate time to go and look at it, to go and seek it out. And that's why it accumulates. That's why they remain mediocre. That's why they aren't conscious. That's why they can't be mindful. That's why they take pride and comfort in doing bad habits to deal with their emotions. You see those girls so proud of their mental illnesses and their high body counts and their terrible coping mechanisms like vaping, smoking, drinking. You see those men and women get into toxic relationships because subconsciously they think that's what they deserve and they're addicted to that drama, that pain. Maybe you kind of desire that too. We are so childishly irritated by our parents. We have no discipline. We procrastinate. We self-sabotage. You need to journal. You really need it, man. And journal makes you more well-spoken. Journal helps you organize your thoughts so when you speak, you can articulate all of them effectively. Journaling helps you reevaluate your actions and your fears so that you can get closer to capturing those opportunities you always miss. You can store your thoughts and your fears in a bank, kind of a database. You can write it down so that you don't have to keep thinking about it, and it frees up your capacity to do other things. To make the greatest comeback of your life, you need to journal. You absolutely need to. It's not whether you want to or not. You need to. Your brain is so absolutely mangled. Your brain is butt fucked with so many random ass thoughts. You're drowning in so much self-pity. You're drowning in so much anger. You need someone to put it. And you're too afraid to burden others. So why don't you burden your journal then? And when you write in a book, you're not burdening anyone. If you never deal with your dog water mental health, you'll never find out what you love and what you want to be. Number 4 is to deliberately challenge fears. Gamify your life experience. It's time to deliberately chase those experiences that you've missed. While growing up, you threw away so many opportunities. Starting now, you're gonna have to take way more opportunities than the average person. You're gonna have to stop pretending like you value comfort more than you value experiences. You want to meet new people. You want to find that wonderful girl in your life. So go speak to women. Make new friends. Find men that are on the same path as you. Do what you love. You need to pick up responsibilities And you need to excel at them. You need to actually care about them. Learn to be capable. Build your competence as you seek out these experiences. Challenge your social anxiety. If there's someone next to you in a lecture theater, speak to them. You want to keep leveling up every single day. Build up to do something you couldn't a month later. Everything you're slightly afraid of but you feel like you can do, you must do it. Your self-esteem will take a huge blow when you realize how much fears you have and how you're so boxed in by what everybody thinks and what everybody wants out of you that you never get to think and do what you want. Speak to her. Make new friends, join clubs, seek out those lessons, seek out those social events. When you're consuming social media, you scroll YouTube shorts, and 30 minutes later, you will completely forget every single shot you've been through. Maybe you remember one or two that made you go, huh. The return on investment on consuming social media is absolutely dog water. You need responsibility, you need duty, and with that comes focus, comes purpose, comes fulfillment, and you want to seek that because that feels fucking amazing. But for that prolonged amazing feeling, you're going to have to give up the short-term amazing feelings. Porn, video games, social media. You should try to track your progress to the best of your ability so they can see how far you've come. And when you journal, you can kind of read back and look at how the old you thinks and compare to how you think now, and the difference will scare you. Make the ultimate comeback. Change your life. Aren't you sick and tired of having no direction? Aren't you sick and tired of being rejected? Aren't you sick and tired of pretending you don't care whenever you fail? Because you've never put in any effort anyway, so the failure doesn't get to you. She's waiting for you right now. Do it for your parents. Do it for your bloodline. Your ancestors really be fighting wars, carrying rice bags, working high-risk, labor-intensive jobs, fighting against terrible circumstances. They probably went through poverty. They probably built a business entirely by themselves. And look at you. Your mother shit out this little shit that won't stop complaining about his insecurities. You should feel ashamed of yourself. People think it's wrong to have a sense of duty to prove your worth. But isn't this how it always has been? Isn't this the way of men? You only disagree with it because you don't have any substance right now. You're beautiful, caring, loving, family-oriented, affectionate, intelligent wife is literally out there waiting for you right now. She wants you to get better so you can find her. She wants you so bad. You need to throw away your childishness, your incompetence out of the door. You need to become the man that your ideal wife is looking for right now. I want you to channel all your hurt. If you don't start changing today, you are simply not hurt enough. I want you to prove it. You should feel so angry you're almost shaking. All those things others have that you aren't given. That girl who broke your heart. All those things you missed out on growing up. All those opportunities you threw away. All those friends who found a better spot in life than you. All your failures and your broken promises. And all the false smiles that your mother gave you despite those failures. All the times your father came back home from work to learn that you didn't do well in your studies. All the times you hear that disappointment in his voice. No matter your situation, pain brought you here. That's what connects all of us. I have so much love for you, so much empathy for you, and I'm so excited. Find out what you become. Show us how angry you are. Show us how strong you can be when you finally try. When you finally really try. Let's go, brother, to better work.